I've done it.
It burst.
What is that rushing water sound?
Yes, oh my
That's
gosh.
inside
Oh,
the house. Oh, no,
gosh.
oh, no, oh, no.
That was the weirdest sound. I turned it on, I heard this gushing sound, and I was like, I ran down to the basement, and I was like, oh, it just sounds like blood.
No.
And I immediately ran back upstairs to turn it off, because I figured it was a pipe bust, and it was in the walls. And then I came back downstairs, and all that water started underneath into my hardwood floors that I had been rushing to pry off to the bottom baseboard, and then I'm taking it apart, because it was, at least it was, it's concrete, so you can't put carpet on concrete, it's snapping.
Yeah.
So I had to rush it, I did a lot of this, and stuff I saved my carpets. And then we opened the wall, and then we left a hole in the wall and put one of those things that you can put over the wall, so you never have to open it again. That's what this will happen again. I know. It was never playing. I remember taking shadows off because I knew when it was coming. But one day, my wife decided to plug it back in and wash her car, and I didn't know she went turn it on, and so they cracked. And so it happened to you?
I had just, spaced it, I had some disconnected.
Yeah.
So I just got it.
I'll send you one.
I'm sure I can download.
It's pretty easy, yeah. I can do it, but I can make it easy, just send it to you.
It doesn't come back in, so it turned on and then all that water.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do with this stuff?
Good evening.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
So, we all went to Devil's Lake State Park and.
And you went?
Yeah.
I haven't been on one of those in years.
Well, it's just everybody's so spread out,
Yeah.
but it's still such limited conversations, but it's still good.
You go back and talk about it all times.
My partner actually brought home movies from when we were.
Oh, how fun.
And watching, I just laughing, and of course, there's, the film is degrading, a little bit.
Sure.
And then where do you find the 8mm, projector?
Yeah.
I have a screen.
Yeah, a screen. So it's kind of funny, you see it, and it's, a little darker than you want, and we're picking on you for not focusing it right as you show it. Then you see some little kid coming, like, who's that? Oh, it's everybody looks alike.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, but it's really just, don't recognize the kids, because you don't see them, not when we grow up.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good. It's going back for a funeral, Yes, Here we are. Mom?
Busy yourself?
Very.
Has the mind's been busy? Yeah, a lot of people going to.
Not easy as last year.
Interesting.
Their numbers are not compared to last year. I saw an article written about it that 2021 is being considered an anomaly.
It's so
Yeah, everybody just went out and did something.
true.
Yeah, because I was concerned for a while.
Check the other line, I just.
The Lebanon, food's down a little bit,
Argo.
the train's down, yeah.
What's the mine that's connected to the train?
They have the Lebanon, and then they're trying to get open, they're doing this pretty busy.
Yeah, I've never been to that one, but I've heard the train, when you stop off, and there's you can run, get on the train.
Yeah.
So I've seen Breeze, but I haven't.
It's worth going.
It's
Oh,
in,
yeah.
Especially if you get a wheel tour.
I got a good real short call. The month pulse to be, yes.
Wow, didn't put you to work too.
Oh, yeah, a little kid. Well, a little kid in her desk, yeah. And we have an activity for kids. It's actually really fun. All the great job.
Jenna, move our microphone.
Okay, yeah, do, feel free.
And see how it makes a difference.
Okay, and you guys are kind of dark. I wonder if we would shut people on. Oh, actually on that one, that's better than mine.
Oh, it is, so that's good.
Okay, so I'm out.
And code book, just in case.
Yeah.
Although, you got Jerry.
Jerry's.
Well, that's a question. No, this is not all.
Hey, Jerry, hey, Rick, how are you? I'm going western here. You know,
Decided to get a little more casual.
okay, so, you know, I have one set of, one outfit, it's this outfit, you know, that's my one thing.
Well, I was outside a lot.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine.
Hello,
Howdy.
howdy, howdy.
Same. Yeah. I know it's but, you know,
Those are so good though.
yeah, if you know. If you're in a pinch,
Yeah.
and I have like one day at lunch and nothing.
And they're rewarding and they're good for
Yeah,
you.
so. Yeah, even picnic. Yeah. Good, no, so you're not judging.
I'm not in a positive way.
Good.
And they're done.
Yeah. Mary.
We're at the forum. Well, I can't read who that is.
It's Dan.
I thought it probably was.
Randy's phone himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
He's on the list. No, you're good.
And, best leadership.
It's not a lot you can do.
And guess what?
Best leadership group in the nation. Yeah. That's the word. I'm feeling 100 years old. We got back last night about 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow, that's a
So I just slept with the plug for 20 volunteers.
Is something you want to tell us?
No,
How big is that?
I didn't, because I just got back from California last night. Yeah. What it's all about.
That's the farm side.
Well, this is the group, I think, so, and mine says 6 o'clock, so we're there. No, I'm talking, we are next. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting of the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Georgetown to order. It is Tuesday, July 26th, 2022, and it is 6 p.m. And let's start off with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And roll call. I am Lynette Kelsey, police judge. Rob Connell will not be here tonight. Dan Powell.
Present.
John Jennings.
Here.
Paul Hinton.
Here.
Steve Smith. And Rich Barrows.
Here.
Wonderful. And agenda approval. Does anybody have anything you want to add to the agenda? Okay. Who would like to make the motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Audience business. Members of the audience have 5 minutes to present any matter of interest not already on the agenda. Hi.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Any answer on whether or not residents are allowed to have some of that recycled roadways? Because my driveway is washed away, my back hill washed away. And, my coral truck, I can drive to Summit and get gravel and dirt and stuff and haul back in, so it's not so much work in me, if I could get a truckload to that, and it's just sitting there. Well, it's our stockpile for our roads and.
So I understand that you guys got a lot more than you wanted.
I'm gonna let you, during business hours, you should probably discuss it with Rick.
You know, at one time, at one meeting, maybe a year or two ago, that they said that it was available, but then it's always talked about, so. And I don't wanna just go in there.
And that could have been the situation a year ago, but it may not be the situation anymore. I mean, they may have.
You guys aren't doing anything with it, certainly not going on our roads, like, you know, we were told when it was there that, you know, when you guys did Main Street, I was told by the people that were driving trucks, road bridge people, that they were doing the long streets first, like Main Street, and then they're gonna do shorter streets and Main Street, and I was thinking that. He says that, and Skyline is certainly could use it, I mean.
Yes, please.
So what did your name? Can you say your name again?
Deborah Butler.
Deborah Butler. I walked down there today to kind of see the whole road, and we're gonna do some things to try to address it. Because it's a lot of a mess. But come to my office and we can talk about the road base.
Okay.
I know that there was a program before. Please don't assume that we're not doing anything on the roads, that we're stockpiling it just to sit there.
Well, I
We are
understand.
using it.
I mean, I know you're short staffed and lost people, but I mean, when they first did Main Street, I think it was about two years ago, when they did Main Street, it was still when John was living on there. So they did that and then it just stopped and then they didn't go out since then, so, I mean, I know you're not stockpiling it, and that, I don't know, maybe or just talk, but I mean, I did hear that you got 40,000 tons and you want that much, it's not said, well, it's all or nothing, so. It was my understanding that you guys had one use, but. It's for office. And then just say that Mr. Barrett, here is the, what is he still, is he making contact, is he proceeding with this plan?
I have nothing to give because there hasn't been a meeting. He wants to meet soon to discuss it, but I have nothing. I haven't seen anything. No.
I
They're
mean,
still just talking and wanting to do something.
I mean, is that even a possibility after you know, the last time he brought it up, and, you know, he wanted to change the zoning, and you guys, I thought that ruling was pretty final, 1 house per acre or 1 house per lot, and I thought that was a done deal. I mean, can you keep appealing that, or taking up every time and fighting it when you guys already ruled and said, no, this is it, or?
Well, you know, the town remains open for applications. You can't tell people, your property owner who said, no, you're, so you mean you never come in and make an application. Yeah. But, I think Mr. Chair probably understands the message that he got from, there was a denial, but the town is obliged to accept applications from people.
Right.
They can't say, we are not taking applications from you
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
And so all I can tell you is that he continues to express interest, but that really hits the road when as if there's an actual application.
Okay.
There's always talk of stuff, but until we get an application in the door,
Right.
which we are obliged to receive, we can't refuse it.
Yeah. So, I mean, so even if you say that you can't, it's not, that you can't rezone that, somebody can come back every year and ask you to rezone it? Okay.
People want to continue to file applications, we are required.
And that
to.
costs money too, though.
It does, but what can I say? You
Okay,
know, we're the government and we remain open, and we can't pick and choose who to take applications from.
Especially if you bring a different application. It's one to continue bringing the same one that's denied.
yeah, we're gonna do town.
So we shall see, all we can do is.
Look at that. That beautiful place across the road with the double decker buses that there. We know where we found the dog at, this is where the trail came on, and we were actually talking to a gentleman that was actually starting to haul out some of the little jumpers there. And he was in a very scary truck because he stopped to talk to us, and the brakes, he had one on the flatbed and one behind him. And the brakes wouldn't hold going down that hill, and he couldn't finish talking to us, because he had to keep going because he was heading up the hill towards town. That's for affordable housing.
Did you have any other concerns to bring to us tonight? Okay, thank you. All right, next we have the payrolls. And the payrolls that we have in front of us tonight are from July 8th through July 21st, 2022. Any questions or comments on the payrolls that somebody here could try since Mary's not here?
I have just one question. On the very first page, under general fund, the line item 2241, medical life insurance. How often is that paid? That's a big number right there. $5,000. Was that a quarterly?
I don't know, we can find out.
Just want to make sure it wasn't like a weekly thing.
It's not like a month.
It's probably, might be a one time. Okay. That's all I have.
Any other questions on the payrolls?
Approve the payroll, so.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the payrolls from July 8th, 2022 through July 21st, 2022. And before we take the vote, did anybody have any questions about Mary Sim's memo on the checks for the okay, great. Great. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Deanna, I didn't see you vote.
I was having trouble getting my unmute going. One question, is the Strasburg thing going to be voted on separate, or is it included in this?
It's included.
Okay,
That's why I mentioned it. Was yours a yay vote or a nay vote?
It's yay, I want to cover the Strauss Park thing.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have resolution number 10, series 2022. A resolution of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Georgetown, Colorado, approving the transfer of opioid settlement funds.
I'm the staff report for that. It's a very short staff report, as you see from the letter to Rick and Jack Patterson. The total allocation over 18 years, the town was on $1,800. So we're down to the 300 in various years. And the board had discussed this previously and felt that the better use of money would be a transfer to the region. As much as spending a couple $100 a year would not have a huge impact on the town. Giving to the region at least allows you to have a little bit better voice of the region. Understanding that voice is worth $1,800 as compared with other stuff. So it would end up being a giant killer. We're down to small numbers here, and I do think it's appropriate for the board to memorialize its action so that money gets spent. That's the resolution of that.
Any questions on this?
Turn it off, I'm sorry. I know memory keeps running that I don't know that it turns off.
I'll make a motion to move to approve resolution number 10, series 2022, transferring the opioid settlement funds to Clear Creek, Gilpin Creek, Jones County.
Not Gilpin Creek.
It says
I
it.
know that, but it isn't.
Well, I can do change their name in the last couple of weeks.
They did. Let's cancel.
So
that.
amended. Yes.
Resolution number 10, series 2022. Good.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 10, series 2022. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the draft audit for 2021.
I guess it's the final.
Yes.
My bad.
So, I'll just
Do you
give
want
a
an intro?
Yeah, I'll just give a brief. This is the amended one, so they were able to go back and make changes, and then they immediately submitted to the state. So everything that was caught from our first screening was changed, and I know Lynette came and said that she found a couple other things. I did, well, it's just a lack of having a date, I believe, on one of the schedules. I contacted him to say, is this normal of how you do it, or is this something that, he said, no, this is how I do all of them. It's instead of being redundant, he just doesn't put it on a certain scale or the schedule, but it is exactly the way he does it for all his municipalities, and will not be amended. So it is correct the way he has it.
And just to add to that, what the corrections that I double checked with you on had been on the original list. And when he responded to Mary Sims, he had marked those as being corrected, which led me to believe that a date was going to get filled in.
Okay.
But I did go back to a previous audit report, and he does leave those, it's for a pension fund. And he does leave that year, so, yeah, it made sense to me until he said it was corrected. He should have explained it differently.
When that was corrected, he
Yeah.
just kept it, did not amend that.
Left it the way it had been, yeah. So, I believe there is a motion in your packet. If anyone would like to make it.
There's draft report of basic financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2021, director of reported to the state required by July 25th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the auditor's draft report for the year ending December 31st, 2021. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Staff items, we've got the Strauss Park update, and Bob Hamilton is on the screen with us tonight. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you. I guess I could probably sum things up in a couple of words. As you can all see, we are plodding along, working on the foundations for the new shelter. I think the last time I was before you, I had talked about using some volunteer labor to keep that within budget, and I completed the budget analysis based on up-to-date information from local contractors, and we're proceeding using all contract labor to do that work. And it'll be close. We've had a couple surprises. Once we started digging along the Niesel and Anderson building, we were concerned about the fieldstone foundation that's there, and there was a few loose rocks coming out. The soil was not compacted at all, so I made a decision to, with some consultant, with other interested parties, to go ahead and cap that wall. So that cost us a couple of days of extra work and about 7 yards of concrete. But I think it's everybody is sitting much less anxious about damaging the foundation to that historic building. So I think it's money well spent. We got some of the deep foundations poured last week. We're working to pour the grade beams that run along the Niesel and Anderson building, and then the grade beam that comes out from the building to connect it to the deep foundation. We had planned to pour that Wednesday. That's going a little slower. So the plan is now Friday. We canceled the concrete for Wednesday, and we have concrete scheduled for Friday. I'm guessing that we'll probably be I'm thinking another 2 weeks before we get everything done. But it's moving along okay. I've got to go down and pick up a little bit more rebar. I misinterpreted the engineer's drawing and didn't order enough of a certain shape. So I called them up earlier about noontime today. They said they could go ahead and bend up another 40 rectangular cages and have them ready for me by around noontime tomorrow. It's going to cost about $150, so it's pretty cheap. And Rio Grande has been great to work with. I mean, they're very responsive. It's certainly nothing we could do ourselves in the time or for the cost that they're able to do it. So I'll go down tomorrow afternoon to take care of that. You had the memo from Mary where we've completed our evaluation of the heavy timbers and framing materials, and we'll be placing 3 orders. The first one will be, they've all been placed, but they can't order it from their suppliers until they have money in hand. So when I go down to Denver tomorrow, I'll bring that down to Rocky Mountain Forest Products, and we'll get the first batch, which are the heavy timbers. They should be here in probably a couple of weeks. So right around when the foundations are done, we should have those on site. And I think that will probably really kick off the use of volunteer labor. We'd like to get all that material stained before we actually put it up. So that's kind of the game plan. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll get the other stuff on order and out to us. And I think we're okay with deliveries. I've been keeping in touch with Rocky Mountain Forest Products. The other thing is I did quite a bit of work last time I didn't have all the budget data put together. I've kind of got that pretty well in hand, and that's in your packet. There's a lot of detail there. I'm a very hands-on type person, both in reporting, so you know what's going on. I really want to make sure that everybody is in the loop and we're all on the same page. And also, I'm very much involved on a continuing basis with what's actually going on on the downtown in the park. We finally did get our, I don't know if we have our building permit, but we got approval to build the shelter from Safe Built yesterday. Jennifer will fill out an actual building permit per the statement that's on the drawings by the structural engineer. He's fine with being the engineer of record and in providing a final basically a final certification letter to the town that everything is done per the design. I'm going to be his eyes and ears, so I've already reported back to him on the deep foundations, and he was happy with the details I provided, and I'll continue to do that throughout. I've worked with this gentleman before, and when I was building my house up here, that way we're able to move through the construction process pretty smoothly. We can order concrete when we need it and when we're ready for it, and not have to wait an extra week for inspections to occur. So I think that's going to help move things along. And I mean, we're starting to move, and it's a mess down there now, but it'll get better in another couple of weeks, hopefully. If anybody has any questions, please, don't hesitate to ask or to contact me directly. I'd be more than happy to spend time with you and answer any questions necessary.
I have a question. Did Safeville sign off on that concrete cap that you poured against Niesel Anderson?
No,
Do they have to?
no. That cap is effectively just a concrete, not even a retaining wall. It's really there just to protect the foundation on the Niesel Anderson side from being knocked by the excavation, the excavator when it's in there, and keep any rocks from falling out. So
It's really more of a curve. Like, I mean,
yeah, it's about 2 feet high, and just we brought it out just far enough to make a straight line, and we just backfill it with concrete so that it basically is like a curve you'd see on a road. I mean, I think that's a good analogy.
all right, I was just curious because we don't want a wall collapsing like at that other location across the street.
It doesn't really add any load, or it just keeps it stabilized.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, Bob.
Thank all of you.
We've done our 400
And next, we don't really have the audit, the RFP for the auditor, so that item is a non-item. And you should have gotten the town administrator's report and updated task list.
Questions?
I was just saying, you have questions first,
Sure, 22nd Street Bridge, where are we with that? With the,
Burgess.
yeah,
So I asked Kevin yesterday about it, and Kevin said he's still waiting on engineering costs. He's reached out to Craig and a couple other people, and they said they were on it, but they haven't seen it. So I reminded them, we still need that ASAP. So that's what we are on.
and what's the latest from the fire station conversation?
We were supposed to have a conversation yesterday, but Kelly had rescheduled, so we will sometime this week meet.
And our affordable housing with Habitat seems to have with the middle site.
Yeah, because we've had the flooding issues in Millsite, we're gonna pause on that. It's a very small amount of money that we're going after compared to the pressing grant that we do have from Cindy Nealers with CDOT. So I switched gears to make sure we don't lose that. So it's a lot more involved paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork involved for the Freeport, but because we have issues to resolve before that I don't know how long this is gonna take to resolve our issues.
So it was just that one small financial piece that is on, okay, okay.
It's not gonna affect them doing anything. In fact, the reason why, I mean, Sally Rush and I spent a lot of time talking about it. It was an incentive that we were wanting to help get them to do it. It is such small change in comparison to incentives that they don't need that to do this project. It was just saying, we wanna help you to do some environmental studies for that. So it will be required, once they start building, but we just don't, we decided to fund it at this time.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Was doing something more to the whole project. Okay.
We're still.
Okay.
Anyone else have questions? Okay, just briefly, the last couple of weeks, you know, we've experienced a lot of rain. What I've been told more than normal, so I don't know, it seems pretty normal to me. Every day I get up and I see more rain. I feel like I'm at the beach, because every afternoon at the beach is raining. So circumstances don't cause problems, circumstances reveal problems. And so because we haven't had this much rain, it's revealed a lot of infrastructure problems. And so, I'm sure we've always had this, but we never knew it because the rains never revealed this. And so it's come down so much, so the mudslide or the rain event that caused the mudslide and other flooding rain events is just put major havoc on our staff. So they are overworked and tired and exhausted. So I have created a list to kind of make sure Road and Bridge can start prioritizing their stuff. We hired another guy who's a senior level and he's excellent. So we've got 2 people and one of our guys, our third guy, has been out for being sick. So he is back on the job after some strong talking and he is back in shape. And so now we have 3 guys to be able to work on Road and Bridge. So I'm excited about that. But I can't stress this enough. I'm proud of them. They have worked hard. They're not complaining. They're getting their stuff done. And so all of our staff, and I'm just we have weekly staff meetings and we talk about all of our projects and they're constantly working, doing things. So we got a great crew. I'm very proud of them. I want to highlight that to you guys. One other thing too, just, I know you've seen my staff report, so I don't want to dive into things, but I do want to highlight 2 things. Planning and zone, our planning commission, we had a really long meeting this week. And it revealed to me that some of the board members are blending what they think they should do with another board, the DRC. And so it's caused some friction. DRC is design standards, planning is code, what we have to do by our chapter 17. And so, but what it's revealed in the discussion of these things is that the historic residential section 17-1641, the intent in there, I'll read it to you, I have it open. It says, it is the intent of the regulations established in this section to maintain the primarily single-family, small lot residential character of the district, to retain the historic pattern and compact development and site design, and to ensure the new construction in this district is in harmony with and does not detract from the historic building styles and designs in the district. That's the intent. And then it goes down to clarify lot size, what that means, and so forth and so forth. What they're wanting me to say to you today is that they feel like it's a feeling, it's hard to divorce your feelings from code intent, is that it's very confusing for them. DRC gets a staff report of what code allows, so either it's acceptable or it's not. They don't get anything, so we're going to start giving them the minutes of the DRC so that they feel better prepared for that. The second thing is that they are sensing mission creep. So the intent starts here, and then developments have come in and housing, but what's happening, it's creeping into larger homes now. So almost all the newer homes on that Main Street, Biddle, are all larger homes. And they're getting very concerned that it's not the intent of this. So they're asking me to come and share, would you consider changing and restricting the code in order to keep that. So for example, we have minimums, but we don't have maximums. Would you task Jerry and I to go back and look to see, has cities done that in an area like this? And come back, I know it's difficult because we've always had large ones in the historic district too. It's not just all small ones, there are large ones, but they're sensing that it's a major shift now. It's not smaller ones being built, it's large ones. And so I wanted to bring that up because they are very concerned about it.
Would it be reasonable to start with a work session?
And kind of define some things that are,
Right.
sure, I think that's good.
Here's what is happening,
Yeah.
here's where the trend we're seeing, compare, actual footprints and, it just,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
okay.
We're still addressing a lot of the footprint.
There's footprints of 40%.
And the height is.
There's restrictions on height, which DRC has been, pretty good sticklers on keeping the height, but it's the scale. So, for example, this last one, they had 4 lots that were combined. And so 40% of 4 lots would be an enormous amount of house. So it was way low, it was below the scale of the code allows, but the scale of them was still large, very large, and feels disproportionate to them. So it's a gap that they can't close because code's allowing it, and they're concerned about it. So I just want to bring that. And the second is, I just wanted to address a little bit more in detail, the Clear Creek Inn situation. I have been very graceful and gracious to try to bring these two parties together to try to work out a solution. And what we found is, that it's hard because I give conditions and then what's happening is, it's not being met. And so, I am moving at this point to make the decision that, they will have to, the conditions will have to be for especially sound amplification, since that's the issue. Condition it where they have to stop it completely at the end and maybe restrict it to 8 o'clock. So no more amplification or 8:30 or something like that. It's become too much of a nuisance. The temporary permit is also concerned because there's no limits on it. They have asked, or the party has asked, if we would consider readjusting that to put limits on the temporary use. Our code doesn't have any limits, how many times it can be used. It may then push it back to readdressing the special use permit to accommodate the event portion. But I think it's the sound, the nuisance is the issue, not necessarily how many events that are going on. So if we can nip the sound part and take care of that. So the issue is to me to condition it at a certain time so it doesn't go into the evening. It must be moved indoors. I'm going to try that and see how it works, but both parties are open to that. The other issue was parking or lack of parking for the events, which I forced them to do a parking agreement with across the street. So they have now got the parking agreements to satisfy that other issue. So I just want to bring your attention that it's an ongoing situation that we're trying our best to bring peace to this. And that's really, so this is my big thing, so I'm bringing to this.
Any other questions for Rick? All right, moving on. We have executive session.
Before we go to executive session, can I say something?
Sure.
The sound is really, really bad. I believe we need an upgrade. There should be one microphone for like each of the 3 tables the council sits at, and one for our audience business, because the report Rick just gave on the inn was impossible to hear. It gets real blurry and real muddy. I could hear Bob Hamilton perfectly because he's also on Zoom. So the Zoom thing isn't the problem. The problem is the acoustics in the room are so funky that we really do need to upgrade the sound system to at least one mic per each of the tables and for our audience business, because it's not legible. It's not discernible. It's muddy and a lot of echoes, and so much of it, like I can never hear what Mary's saying because her voice is just of a timbre that the mics don't pick it up well.
Okay, thank you for the feedback.
So I could say, Mary and I talked about this, and one solution she thought about doing is having our meeting over at the Heritage Center, temporary, to kind of see how they have their setup, and then maybe incorporating what they have. Trying to see their technology and see if that would kind of experience it, and then maybe we can move that kind of technology here.
We have other hybrid meetings there that are much more successful and discernible than ours.
Okay, yeah, open ideas, so, yeah.
Well, I'll reach out first to them to see when we can get on their agenda, and then we'll make it known where we're going to go.
Okay.
Well, wait, can we first figure out what kind of equipment they have and then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great, that'd be awesome,
I'll
thank
tell
you.
you after.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, anything,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Mary has the exec session.
Okay, very good. I don't have the Okay, very good.
I need to go into executive session for a conference under section 24-6-402. Sections 4B, the vice statute, the town attorney for the advice on funding options for the business promotions commission. And further move to return to the open meeting with the conclusion of the executive session to take any action deemed necessary.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. So we'll just, 5 minutes to get rearranged.